Gun Collector 007 here with just a quick story about an incident that happened this past Sunday at church. This last Sunday was Easter Sunday, and I don't go to church that often, but I do go on certain holidays. And I went to the church with my wife, and we're following along with everything that's going on there. And one thing is, when I go to church, as well as when I go anywhere else, I'm totally armed. And this last Sunday, I was armed with a gun that I like to carry. It's a Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, and I wear it in an ankle holster because if you're wearing a suit or something, sometimes it's hard to carry a gun. And I always take my little North American Arms 22 Magnum, and I stick that in a pocket. So this last Sunday, we're in the church, and about halfway through the service, all of a sudden we hear tremendous yelling from the back of the church. And with that, I guess I'm on edge with what's going on around the world with all these Islamic groups attacking people and so forth. With that, I immediately, without even thinking about it, I pushed my wife down. She was sitting on my left, and I pushed her down into the pew, and I immediately turned around to see a guy screaming, and he actually knocked someone over at the back of the church, and I couldn't really tell. I thought I heard the word Trump, and but the guy was yelling, and I saw he knocked the guy down. So I don't know, instinct and adrenaline took over, and me as well as two other people were on top of this guy, let's just say, in a second, okay? It just bad luck for him. And I'm not going to go into it, but I also, at the time, withdrew this particular gun and stuck it in my waistband. I didn't draw it I took it out of my ankle and I put it in my waistband when I saw that the guy was not armed, but I still wanted to have the gun in case he did have something hidden under his clothing. So long story short, it turned out the guy was just a nutcase, and he thought a church would be the appropriate place to say anti-Donald Trump things, okay? It wasn't a political event, it was a friggin' church Sunday. So the guy was a nut, and police did come, took him away. And I guess the moral of the story is you should be armed at church, especially nowadays, because maybe it could have turned out different. Maybe the guy would have been, something other than just a regular everyday nut. And he could have been some type of, Islamic terrorist or something like that. And we could have had a problem. The one thing I will say is when it all was said and done, we went for coffee afterwards downstairs. They do, cookies and coffee after every church session. A couple of the parishioners there that know me, they sort of had the feeling like, oh, we knew you would take care of it. And, I guess they know I carry because I've run into one or two of them at my gun range. And, I said, really? Why did you know I would take care of it? And they said, well, we just could tell. And it's kind of interesting that sometimes we're a sheepdog and we don't even know that the sheep are actually looking for us to protect them. And I found that interesting that, two grown men would say to me, we knew you would take care of it, which is the truth. I mean, without hesitation, I would have ended it if the guy would have, produced some type of a weapon or something. And I did get very close to him. The whole thing is in a mass shooting or active shooter situation, you got to get close to your target no matter what. Because if you try to shoot across 20, 30 feet with a bunch of people, you're going to hit an innocent bystander. So if you're the type of person that's going to take action, you got to take it from a close range. So even if it involves putting yourself in danger, which many of us sort of, forget that fact because, again, our instincts take over. But again, the moral of the story is that you got to carry a gun, you got to carry it legally, you got to carry it concealed, and you got to be willing to use it if necessary. because we are being attacked by nut jobs of all types. This was an everyday nut job, like I said, but it could have been, a different type of nut job who, might have come in and started shooting or, doing some crazy stuff. But again, I think the most surprising thing was afterwards to find out that these people are relying on me. And let me tell you something, I'm not in law enforcement whatsoever. And so it's not like, oh, this guy's a cop or this or that, he'll take care of it. It's anything but. But so sometimes we're relied upon, and I guess that's just the way it is, I didn't know that so many people knew that I carried, because I always conceal carry. It was just, I found it very interesting. So the point is, if you're going to, going to go to church, you're going to go somewhere where you're legal, have a gun, have a spare magazine, have a backup gun, and, small if necessary. I mean, I couldn't carry a full-size gun that day with the suit that I was wearing. So, this on the ankle was extremely concealable, and this in the pocket, it totally disappears. But anyway, just a quick story. Like I said, the police came, they took the guy away. I don't know what happened to him. He had a few bruises on him, and, he deserved it and more. But, that's it. So, quick story, carry a gun, and I guess if you're going to be the sheepdog, be a sheepdog. And whether you want to or not, if you choose to carry a gun, sometimes you're elected the sheepdog, whether like I said, whether you like it or not. So I guess it's fine with me. It was something that I didn't expect people to say to me. But that's it. So no big deal. Just another everyday occurrence in my crazy life. But that's the way life goes sometimes. All right. So thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.